Well, part of the prep spotlight tonight, we have one of our coaches that's going to do battle tomorrow night in a regional opener. We have Matt Weigl, now in his 11th season at Chesaning. He's won his third straight league championship this year, fourth out of the last 5 years, back-to-back districts. Got things rolling pretty good over there, Coach. What's the secret?
No secret. We got good players. That always helps. The guys have worked really hard over the years developing, and that's what we're seeing right now. When you got good players, you always got a shot to win some games, and we're fortunate right now to be having a good stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you talk about good players. I mean, you've stacked 3 straight conference championships. That's no small feat, because we obviously know, high school and even the college level, but high school people graduate. So, I mean, you can only keep players around for so long, but you talk about those good players. And we've talked about on the podcast before, programs like yourself, Chesaning and other programs around the area having success in football, having success in soccer, track and field, baseball, other programs. How do you as a coach like to see that your players having success on the football field, on the baseball diamond, on the track, because that's going to translate onto the basketball court, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that's something that I think is a big part of the success that we're seeing with the basketball program right now, is that our athletes are year-round. They're competing year-round, whether it's, like you said, football and soccer and track and baseball and whatever it is. They're competing, and the more that you learn how to compete, especially at the high school level, it's only going to pay off in your other sports as well. And so we're definitely seeing that. We love it. We encourage all of our athletes to play as many sports as possible. Get into the weight room if you're not playing a sport, whatever it is, to keep yourself busy and to keep pushing yourself and to keep improving. We're all about that.
Here's a simple one for you. I mean, how much fun are you having right now? I mean, March Madness, you just won a district title. I'm envy of a coach in your position right now with a very good team. I mean, how much fun is it going to the practice gym every day? And then looks like you're still in the office right now at 8:30 p.m. So you're still getting prepping. So how's it been this last week?
It's a ton of fun. It's a ton of fun. To be at this position, to still be playing right now, it's absolutely something that doesn't happen all the time. I mean, we spent a lot of years in this program where we were out first game of districts,
right.
And so to have a couple stretches where you make it to the regional, and you get a chance to maybe play an opponent that you know and you're aware of. It's super special. But to be honest, and this is kind of like maybe just the generic answer, what's fun about this now is also what's fun about it when you're 3-18, and that's
right.
Building relationships with the guys, being able to go to team dinner tonight, and seeing them develop and seeing them grow through the years. That's what's really the most fun about coaching, because even when you are winning, you have a different set of expectations and different pressures and things
right.
like that. So we really try just to enjoy being with each other, and when we get to spend time and hopefully we get to earn more time together with the win tomorrow, if we're fortunate enough to do so.
I mentioned in the open that you're in your 11th season there, and obviously you've got a program rolling at Chesaning. How important is it for the young kids, like the 4th graders, the 5th graders, and how is that put together in Chesaning? I know maybe over closer this way they have the Red Cedar League that's a feeder program for a lot of schools. How do you guys prepare these youngsters to be future varsity players?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you hit it right on the head there. It's so important. It's everything to have a youth program that is willing to take time and to invest into the young players in the future of Chesaning basketball. And so we start as young as we can. Pre-K and kindergarten, we got the bitty ball. We got the little hoops, and we got the smaller size basketballs. And even though they're out there just kind of running around, and it doesn't matter, we just try to get them in the gym, get them exposed to basketball, get them having fun. And then as they grow up, we got involved in the Red Cedar League a couple years ago. So we're doing the Red Cedar now as well. We try to encourage our youth program to be involved with the high school program as much as possible. So halftime of the game, our pre-K and K kids came and they shot around with the bitty ball hoops. And then the other night we did our youth basketball night where the Red Cedar teams came and we introduced them at halftime. And so to integrate the two, I think it's so important. We got to have a solid youth program if you're going to do anything in high school basketball.
Yeah, in really any sport. I think that's true in football. I think that's true in any sport at the high school level. I know I have some nephews and nieces that are going through high school in the area and different schools, and it's just interesting to see the difference now. I graduated back in 2003, so there were still youth programs, but it's not what it is. Right. Today they've got the varsity baseball players are umpiring, Little League baseball to show, think about a little kid being umpired by a varsity baseball player. That's like pretty cool. Or, as a little kid getting to go shoot hoops at halftime of the varsity basketball game, you feel like you're like at an NBA, you're like at Little Caesars Arena, with the Pistons or something like that. So that's very cool to hear. And kind of along those same lines, I love asking, I've probably asked you this before you've been on, but the community support. We're 3 Corona guys, so we know all about Chesaning. We competed against Chesaning, and it's a proud town over there, and they support their teams. And we heard a lot about it during the football season, the run that they had, this fall. How cool is it for you to see your community pack the gym wherever you guys go?
It's been incredible. I mean, yeah, and we'll travel. We'll go to Bendel. We'll go to Ovid-Elsie. Obviously, we just went to St. Charles, and I expect the same here at Ithaca. They travel, they come out and they support us, and it's been amazing. And it's something that it's not lost on us by any means. We're very thankful for the community. But even the other day we had a team dinner, and they pulled out the old newspaper clippings of the 1967 team in Chesaning, that the only team to win the regional. I mean, they're all. It's been super special these last few years to see the community come and support these guys, and this season as well. Absolutely.
So who are some of these key contributors you have in your team? Obviously, I know about Braden Florian, which, I mean, from the highlights I've seen, he definitely fits the bill of a D2 football player. He literally looks like a muscle hamster, and he's got a good little game. So start with him. And then who are some of the other kind of key contributors you're going to count on tomorrow?
Yeah, so Braden Florian, I mean, you hit it there. He looks like a linebacker playing basketball. It's crazy that he's going to go kick, but he's going to do a great job over at SVSU. He's really come on as of late. His offensive game has really given us a lift to give us that, that fourth scorer. We have legit 4 or 5 scorers on the floor at all times, which is a little bit different for us. And his offensive game has really blossomed the second half of the season. Max Volk played quarterback for us. He had a great football season. He's going over to Alma to play football. He's been running point for us all season. Really consistent player. Always going to give us, 11 points and 4 assists and 5 rebounds and a couple steals. So he's been just one of the cornerstones. Brady Sager came back from a broken collarbone. So at OE in the football season, he was having an all-state football season, broke his collarbone, missed our first 6 games. And since he's been back, we haven't lost. He's been a huge difference maker for us. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He just never stops. All effort all the time. Luke Barta, he's been probably the guy all season, giving us about 12, 13 points a game, 7 rebounds a game, 4 or 5 assists a game, 4 or 5 steals a game. He did a heck of a job guarding Chad Brown from Hemlock the other night. We watched him go off for 37 on Wednesday, and he held him down to 8 points on Friday in the district championship. So, those are our seniors that we're really leaning on right now.
Yeah, and you're also getting a good contribution from the young fella, Law Danik. I call him the sheriff, but he's got some pretty good basketball blood, doesn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. So Jason is my assistant. I mean, and he is a basketball mind if I've ever seen one. He's incredible. And so we're fortunate to have him. And then, Law is right there, and he is finding his role on the team. It took a while there at the beginning, we have 2 sophomores up, Law Danik and Luke Scard, and both those guys, coming into this, figuring out how to play varsity basketball, figuring out what their role is. They figure that out now, and it's really making it easier for them to play and to contribute to the team. And so we're looking forward for the future for those guys, and we're hopeful that they'll have a good night tomorrow. Justin Lang, one of the area's top soccer players. He is long and athletic, and he's finding his way on this team as well. So very exciting.
So without giving away your secrets, what is kind of, I mean, it's kind of interesting. You guys have played now twice. It seems like every year you guys play 2 or 3 times if you meet up in playoff time. Almost a little bit of a friendly rivalry almost between these 2 programs, 2 very good programs. So you help me out here. You guys lost the very first game, and then you came back and beat them later on in the year. So what's going to be the key for matchup number 3 tomorrow night? That was a bad question, by the way, but just go ahead and answer it like a pro.
No, the key, and this is what I told the guys, and this is, I don't know if this is what you're looking for, but I told the guys, I said, it's going to be simple. The team that plays the best tomorrow is the team that's going to win. At this point, when you're the region, every team is good. Every team deserves to be here. The team that plays the best tomorrow is the team that's going to win. And that comes down to everything. I mean, you're going to have to be locked in defensively. You're going to have to make some shots, right? All those things are going to matter. And it's who can make the most positive plays tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, it goes hand in hand. We'll let you out of here with this defense. I mean, Hemlock's a pretty good basketball program overall, and 20 points? Are you kidding me? 20 points? That's playing some serious defense.
It was one of the best defensive efforts in my 11 years that I've ever seen. I was incredibly proud that those guys played phenomenally on that side of the basketball. And on the flip side, I know what it's like. We've taken our beatings before too, where we can get 20 points and that's about it. So I know what that feels like, but they played absolutely phenomenally, and hopefully we can have some of that defense tomorrow. Ovid-Elsie is a really good offensive team. They got some really good shooters. It's going to be tough for us, but we're hopeful. We're hopeful we can keep it rolling.
Well, good luck to you. It is the Castle first game of the regionals. We'll be there tomorrow night, Casey and Joe, and I'm sure the Ithaca gym, which tends to get loud, will be very loud tomorrow night. So best of luck to you, Coach. Thanks for taking a few minutes to join us.
No, hey, really appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Jacobs Insurance Agency has served Shiawassee County and the surrounding areas since 1977. Just like 3 Point Podcast, we've had 3 generations: Gary Jacobs Sr., Gary Jacobs II, Brian Jacobs, and myself, Noah Jacobs, serving our community with offices in Waterford and Owasso on M21, just west of Home Depot. Stop in or go online to jacobsinsurance.com to get a quote or get your questions answered by our team. Jacobs Insurance is a proud supporter of our local schools and the proud sponsor of the Prep Spotlight. Insure everything, local, independent, and trusted. It's our family working together to protect yours. That's the Jacobs way.
All right, next on the Prep Spotlight, we have Matt Weigl's counterpart for tomorrow night, Ovid-Elsie's head coach, Canyon Walker, now in his second year, 19-5 on the season for the Marauders, playing some really good basketball right now. First of all, Coach, congratulations on your run so far on the season, and thanks for joining the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Not a problem at all. Now, I know we've talked so many times on this podcast. This has definitely become Jared's favorite athlete in Mid-Michigan, Trice Tokar. Let's start with Trice Tokar. What does he mean to the Ovid-Elsie basketball team?
He does everything for us. I think he at one point led us in rebounds, led us in points. He's leading us in steals per game right now. He's leading us in assists per game right now. He does it all. How Trice Tokar goes is basically how we go. I have a lot of very young players on my varsity team who look up to him.
Yeah.
So just like Travis Milner, I always say Travis is Trice's shadow. Whatever he does in practice, Travis does in practice. Usually how Trice goes in the games, Travis will kind of follow along there. So he's his little shadow for sure. He means a lot to our team for sure.
That's a pretty good guard combo right there, starting right there. Yeah, they both had good games in that district championship, I know.
Yeah, when Trice got in that foul trouble in the third quarter, Travis kind of put the team on his back there in the third quarter to keep us in that game. Had a couple really tough pull-up jumpers that I was talking to him about it. He said, I think that's my first ever pull-up jumper I've made in a game. And I was like, what? I was like, that's pretty big. That's good.
Yeah. So you're originally from Lanesburg. We were just talking pre-show. You graduated in 2016. So you're a young guy. I mean, I'm guessing you're 26, 27.
Yep.
Second year coaching. I mean, has it been everything you've expected? I mean, 19-5 in your second year district championship. I mean, pretty good start, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Young coach. I feel like I connect with the guys very well. I always still kind of feel a little old. I always say, you know, when I was in high school, we did this way.
Right.
I connect with the guys very well. You know, it's funny. I did not graduate from Ovid-Elsie, but my dad did, and all of his siblings did.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of a cool experience to go back to Ovid-Elsie, and I didn't graduate from there, but
Right.
a lot of these players are my dad's friends' kids.
Oh, right.
So it's a very cool experience to kind of get back into that community there.
Yeah.
Can you kind of
speaking of-
explain
Go ahead, Jake.
your coaching journey? Where were you at? Were you at Lanesburg assistant before this, or is this your first like coaching experience? Is at Ovid-Elsie as a varsity coach? What's your backstory?
So my second year of college, I stopped playing basketball because I got too many concussions. So I actually did a 4th grade Red Cedar team in Lanesburg, and
Okay.
that's how I started coaching. And then I went over to Williamston to coach under Tom Lewis.
Yep.
So I was the freshman head coach in Williamston when we won the state championship over there. And then the next year I moved to JV, and I was JV again. And then this Ovid-Elsie job just popped up. And I think this is my 5th or 6th year coaching high school level.
It's
Gotcha.
not bad. Like Jared said, yeah, I mean, 5th year overall, but the second year as a head coach, and you're already winning district championships and thinking about a run to Breslin. I mean, that's not a bad start to the career there. And it is really cool. I knew Jared had mentioned that you graduated from Lanesburg, but I didn't know the Ovid-Elsie connection. So it's definitely cool to get back into that community, you know, with all your family connections there. I wanted to ask you about, we did talk to Coach Weigl at Chesaning, and I asked him a similar question. You know, Ovid-Elsie is having a lot of success in other sports like Tri-Stokar on the football field and track. And, you know, there's other sports where they're having success. How do you like to see that as a coach? I mean, you can even think about it, you know, your playing days weren't that long ago. Seeing your players have success in other sports and knowing that, you know, they're building their skills and they're keeping their, you know, their stamina up, and, you know, they're keeping their strength up and all that kind of stuff for your basketball season. How do you like to see that as a coach?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in success breeds success. So our culture in Ovid-Elsie, obviously we're a big football culture, but I don't mind that because my guys hit the weight room. They're on the field. They're physical. If you guys, I'm sure you watch us play, we're a very physical team. We got a lot of strong young men there. I think every other sport that they play is such a help to the basketball because it keeps them athletic. It keeps them doing stuff. I know some other kids who just want to play basketball. It hurts their knees a lot, and they don't get to experience all the team bonding with their friends.
Right.
I think one of our main things this year is our team is very, very close. They hang out a lot after practices. They always non-mandatory lifts. They want me to open the weight room after practice, and there's like 4 or 5 of them in there. So I think playing all the other sports and being successful in all these other sports really brings them closer together as friends, and they trust each other on the court more. And I think it just kind of wraps all in one of just kind of success breeds success.
Yep.
Well, you
My
know,
favorite thing, sorry,
go ahead.
I'll just go. So my favorite thing about your team, you mentioned that closeness. They have some serious flair. I was watching some highlights. Tucker Loins hit a 3 and had one of the best celebrations I've seen against Mount Morris. Same thing with Tri-Stokar. Hit a big time like fadeaway 3 against Mount Morris. Hit the high steps all the way to the bench for a timeout. Is that something that you preach? Is like, let's just have fun? Or I guess, is there ever a point where it gets too much and you're like, hey, we got to rein them in a little bit? Or you just go have fun? That's what makes you guys you. What's kind of the message to your team?
It's kind of a combo. In practices, I always say a quiet gym is a losing gym. And So I want them talking. I want them to talk more positively in practice. I want them to show emotion. I'm a big emotion guy, so I like my kids to show emotion. There is definitely a line that we teeter that line a lot. In celebrating with each other, I don't think is a bad thing at all. So Tucker doing his little thing or Trice high stepping down the court. I want the kids to have fun. And my bench energy, I always say, just watch a college game and see how those kids react on the bench. 100%. Make some cheers or whatever, a 3-point celebration or that type of thing. I think it just keeps our energy up throughout the game. And I mean, the couple games that we've lost, we've had no energy. We've had the bench was silent. Our kids on the court didn't even look like they wanted to be there, that type of thing. So I personally love to see my kids show that type of emotion and the flair, as you say there.
My real question is, what's your philosophy, both offensively and defensively? I know you have to adjust sometimes in coaching to the talent you have, but do you have an overall philosophy? Do you like the fast break, full court press, that type of thing?
Yeah. My first year in Ovid-Elsie, we went a really slow pace, a lot of set plays, screen and roll, a lot of that. We called it flow, where it was just a continuous screen and roll action. I had more bigs that year. My first year here, I had 3 bigs, 3 centers who I could run that with. This year, I have a lot of quick guards who are really, really good shooters, and they're fast, they're quick, they're athletic. I kind of revamped my whole offense this year to kind of fit the players I have this year, and I personally think it's more fun flying up and down the court. It kind of goes with that emotion and that high energy pressing and you know, we did a shot clock game this year, and that had no effect on us because we play so fast. So I think
how you had a shot clock game this year? What do you mean? How did that work?
Like a tournament or something?
Yep. So we did it was Spring Arbor Shot Clock Classic, and we played in Imlay City. So we went to Spring Arbor's court, and we ended up winning that game versus Imlay City, and it was a super fun environment. They killed the lights and had like the spotlights around and whatnot. That's kind of where we stole it from in our gym. Kill the lights. We have the little lights we put up there, but I knew we were going into the shot clock game, and you know, it didn't really bother me at all because we play at such a high pace, high clip. I tell my guys if we get a good open 3, take it. Yeah. So I think it's just more fun for the kids too.
Oh yeah. If you can be playing in a run and gun offense, that's what everyone wants to play in. No one wants to back them down, old school 1980s, whatever 90s. You know, you want to see people running up and down the court. We'll get you out of here with this one, unless the other guys have one more. Obviously tomorrow night, we're recording Monday night, the regional game against Chesaning. What do you guys have to do to get the win? We know you guys split during the regular season. So do you have a new game plan? Or are you kind of sticking to what got you here? Or what do you guys have to do to get the win tomorrow night?
So the first game we played them, they did their 1-3-1, and we kind of torched that with our shooting. The second time we played them, they had a very good game plan versus us. Really tough man defense. It forced my kids to take some uncharacteristic shots. I mean, I think Trice Tokar went 0 for 5 the second time we played him from the 2-pointer, and only, I think, 2 for 8 from the 3. So they really handled Trice that game. They're a very, very good coaching staff. So, I mean, this time we are revamping our defense a little bit. We had so many breakdowns in our defense this second time we played them. Just really studying the film. Like I said, we had a lot of uncharacteristic stuff, but I feel that they kind of brought that out of us because of how well they were coached and they were disciplined, and they kind of knew what our weaknesses were. So we kind of, the last few practices have been working on fixing our weaknesses. We'll have a couple new things for them, but for the most part, we are really trying to I guess, build off our weaknesses and just say, hey, listen, we have to be just as disciplined as them, if not more, on defense. I think it's going to be a defensive game, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a super high scoring one. Maybe in the 60s, maybe in the 50s is kind of what I predict for the game.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun, that's for sure. You know, the rubber match, Ovid-Elsie, Chesaning at Ithaca on the other side of the bracket, Stockbridge and Lumen Christi. That's a nice little region up there. And we just want to thank you for taking the time and joining us. I think your first appearance on the podcast, right?
Yep.
So we'll be back in touch down the road for sure. But thanks again for joining us, Coach.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me again.
All right, guys, a couple of fun interviews with the two head coaches. It's going to be a great game without a doubt. And again, a little promo for Z92.5. The Castle going to be carrying that game live 5:30 on Tuesday night. Joe and Casey courtside for that one. It's going to be a great matchup, as we talked about with the coaches. It's a rubber match, both won on their home courts, and now at a neutral site, we'll see who can win that first regional game.
Yeah, it's crazy. You said it in one of the interviews. I forget if it was to Coach Weigl or Walker, but Jared, you mentioned how they've kind of turned themselves into a decent little rivalry there.
Yeah.
Always seems like they get their 2 games during the season and they see each other a lot in the postseason. So happening again this year.
And it's pretty rare that you get the third matchup where one team has won once, the other team has won another time. I mean, that's the ultimate grudge match. And that's what high school basketball, and I mean, normally it's the type of matchup you'd get in districts, but just shows how good these two teams are that they're matching up in regionals. So I'm looking forward to it. Ted, if you decided what game, you got a few different games you can go to Tuesday. Now that you're in half retirement mode, which game are you going to?
I'm going to go up to Central Montcalm and watch that 5:30 game. Good matchup. Got to keep it in the blood. Freeland and head coach John Fattel taking on Frankenmuth, their third matchup on the season, and that's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I mean they're like Corona and Owasso, Frankenmuth and Freeland. So there's not necessarily bad blood. I think both are pretty solid programs. Freeland's beat them both times earlier this year, but I want to say maybe a combined 3 or 4 points with both those wins. One of them coming in overtime. So it's going to be an awesome game. And Central Montcalm, huge gym. The 5:30 start is a little bit of a killer, especially with the hour and a half drive for both these schools. It's funny how these regionals sometimes line up where both these schools are driving an hour and a half to play a game against each other when they're 15 minutes apart in terms of towns. But no, it should be an awesome game. I'm really looking forward to it. I get a blast out of watching them play. So it should be a fun one.
Should be. And if I wasn't going to that game or the Ovid-Elsie Chesaning game, I'd probably go over to St. John's because that's where Rockford's taking on Flint Carman Ainsworth. I mean, what a victory by Rockford last Friday night in the district finals. I mean, classic drive, dish to the corner, 3-point shot up by Michael DeKuypers. That's March basketball, even though that was the end of February.
Right. No, anytime there's a buzzer beater, and it seemed like there was a couple other ones around the state I saw getting retweeted, on that night. But yeah, I mean, obviously we have the little bit of a connection to Rockford with Kyle Clough being their head coach, and he's a former Corona Cavalier. I played with him, back in the day, so it's cool to see that. But I mean, you just never know because we talked about, they were ranked number 3 in the state coming in, and March Madness, the tournament being a single elimination, you just never know if it's not going to be your night or if it is going to be your night. Coach Weigl was kind of saying that, his message to his team is kind of whoever plays the best game is going to win at this point, So if you got to win on a buzzer beater, oh, well, we're moving on. Who cares? And man, what a moment. Because it was, I don't know, the video was kind of crazy. I don't know if I never saw like an extended cut, but it looks like the kid made the shot and ran off the court.
They all did.
Ran off the court.
Well, they had a buzzer beater 2-3 years ago where that's what the kid did. He made the shot, sprinted right into the locker room. So I wonder if that was almost like a homage to that buzzer beater from a couple years ago. Big time win for Rockford. I mean, Muskegon is that team in the West Side that if you're going to be a premier program and you're going to make a Breslin run, they're always going to be in your way. It seems like, and they're always going to be good. They're always going to have Division II, Division I talent. So it's a big time hurdle that they just got over, and it's exciting. I mean, it's a bummer that we have 2 connections. Both teams are playing on Tuesday because you're exactly right, Ted. It's like, man, I'd love to go to that game at St. John's, but we got other connections that we got to go to. So I'm looking forward to watching Rockford the rest of the way. I really think that was the hurdle they needed to get over to really make a push all the way to the Breslin Center. I mean, I can say that as a quote unquote media member. I'm not in the locker room, preaching to these kids. You don't want them to look ahead. but I really think that was a big time win. And the most impressive part, I'm watching it live on my phone. That's what NFHS is the most amazing, invention we've had really in high school sports. I'm at the Freeland game on Friday night. They win. I'm standing there in the bleachers watching on my phone this Rockford game countdown. And I was wondering if Coach Clough was going to call a timeout when they got that free throw rebound, because the kid was dribbling almost like a Tom Izzo type play where he's going to call a timeout right as soon as he gets across the half court line.
Right.
Smartly drove all the way to the rim, drew a defender, kicked it out. Kid made a big time shot. So that's March, and that's high school hoops at its finest, really.
I'd be curious to ask Kyle that, like, what was the play there? Was it? I mean, obviously he didn't call a timeout, so that was the play. But I wonder if that was a strategy, because I go back and forth. Sometimes I think coaches call too many timeouts, and sometimes I just want to trust the players. Like let it play out, because you call a timeout, you also let the defense get set up. So there's different strategies that way. I'd be curious to hear Kyle's explanation there. Obviously it worked out, and it went really well. We have a little group chat, a group text with some guys from our basketball team. So obviously one of the guys sent a clip of that 5 minutes after it happened. We were kind of giving Clough a little bit of shit because we were saying his high knees after he did a little high knees like it was football season again. We're like, dang, you still got it, Kyle.
I watched it like the Zapruder film. I think they have two lookalikes on their
They
bench.
do.
I can't tell if it was him. Was it him or is it not?
He was doing the high knees. There was another guy that I think got trampled by the players or something. I don't know. There was a lot going on.
There was.
Yeah, and you got to imagine, I mean, if you're a coach, think about it, they probably rep that end of game situation, once a week, maybe more. And to see those players perfectly pull it off, it's got to be about a top five moment in his coaching career. That's what you coach for. The players handled it. They got it done. Didn't even need a timeout. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I was worried Kyle might, pull a hammy, but he pulled through okay. I will say this: that is one of the neat things about social media, because some of the camera angles that were posted, it was awesome.
It's like there's like 15 different videos of it. Yeah,
I know.
Something new every time.
Yeah,
and obviously another connection, friend of the podcast, Jason Hutton. He was there on a radio call. He was calling it for 96.1, or I forget exactly what radio station he was calling it for. Yeah,
Brett Bakita had a good call on that basket too. It was exciting for sure.
Multiple connections all over.
Amen. All right, guys, that is the Prep Spotlight. We'll take another short break and be back with some more interesting stuff here on 3 Point Podcast.